Gagne's conditions of learning. The condition of learning theory developed by Robert Gagne outlines the internal and external conditions necessary for effective learning. Internal condition: learner's prior knowledge, motivation, and cognitive abilities. An external condition: instructional design, learning environment, and feedback. This theory aims that it helps instructional materials, especially when we make our lesson plan or in teaching demo inside the classroom. Gagne's condition of learning. It is how individuals learn. So, we have five categories of learning. First, verbal information, intellectual skills, cognitive strategies, attitudes, motor skills, and nine events of instruction. Gagne's principles. First, we have different instruction is required for different learning outcomes. Yes, it depends the content or topic that you want to observe your student and what needs to be acquired or the product of your student. And second, events of learning operate on the learner in ways that constitute the conditions of learning. Third, the specific operations that constitute instructional events are different for each different type of learning outcomes. Fourth, learning hierarchies define what intellectual skills are to be learned and a sequence of instruction. Gagne's principles: educators and instructional designers can create learning experiences that promote learner engagement, retention, and transfer of knowledge. Robert Gagne theory was given military training because he experienced with military training played a significant role in shaping his instructional design theories. During World War II, Gagne worked with the Army Corps training pilots. That is why he developed a passion for understanding how people learn and how to design effective instruction. The importance of practical application is using real-world scenarios and hands-on practice to reinforce learning, tailoring instruction to meet the needs of different learners and contexts. Category of learning. Verbal information, example of learning outcome, stating previously learned material such as fact, concept, principles, and procedure. Example, listing the 14 learner-centered psychological principle. And the condition of learning, first, draw attention to distinctive features by variation in print or speech. Second, present information so that it can be made into chunks. Third, provide a meaningful context for effective encoding of information. Fourth, provide cues for effective recall and generalization of information. Intellectual skills, knowing how to do something such as problem solving, decision making, and critical thinking. This is what we call as procedural knowledge, step by step process. This category includes sub-skills like discrimination, concrete concepts, defined concepts, and rules or the rules. So discrimination, distinguishing objects, features, or symbol. Like example, distinguishing an even and odd number. Concrete concepts. Identifying classes of concrete objects, features, or events. Example, picking out all the red beads from a ball of beads. Define concept. Classifying new examples of events of ideas by their definition. Example, noting she sells seashells as alliteration. And rules. Applying single relationship to solve a class or problems. Example, computing average monthly income of a company. Order rules. Applying a new combination of rules to solve a complex problem. Condition of learning. 1. Call attention to distinct features. Stay within the limits working memory. Stimulate the recall previously learned component skills. Present verbal cues to the ordering or combination or component skills. Schedule occasion for practice and spaced review. Use a variety of context promote transfer. Cognitive strategies. Techniques for learning, remembering and thinking such as rehearsal, repeating information to commit it memory. Elaboration, connecting new information existing knowledge. Organizing, structuring information to facilitate understanding. Metacognitive strategies, planning, monitoring, and adjusting learning approaches. The example of learning outcomes. Employing practical ways to guide learning, thinking, acting, and feeling. Example, constructing concept maps of topics being studied. Condition of learning. First, describe or demonstrate the strategy. Provide a variety of occasion for practice using the strategy. Provide informative feedback as the creativity or originality of the strategy or outcome. Attitude. It is internal states that influence choices and behaviors, such as preferences, values, or dispositions. Attitude can be shaped through role models, reinforcement, and repeated experiences. For example, outcome learning. Choosing personal actions based on internal states of understanding and feeling. Example, deciding to avoid soft drinks and drinking at least 8 glasses of water every day. In the condition learning, so first, we have established an expectancy of success associated with the desired attitude. Second, assure student identification with an admired human model. Third, arrange for communication or demonstration of choice of personal action. Fourth, give feedback for successful performance or allow observation of feedback in the human model. Motor skills, physical action that require coordination and precision, such as playing a musical instrument, writing, or driving a car. So, executing performances involving the use of muscles. Example, doing the steps of the single dance. In the condition of learning, present verbal or the guidance to code the executive subroutine. Arrange repeated practice. Furnish immediate feedback as to accuracy of performance. Encourage the use of mental practice. Instructional design. The condition of learning theory informs the design of effective instructional materials, courses, and training programs. As a future educators can apply the theory developed teaching strategies that cater to diverse learners and promote effective learning. So now let's proceed the 9 instruction event of learning that will explain my colleagues or co-teachers.
These three slides illustrate the first three events of Gagne's 9 events of instruction, a widely used instructional design model developed by educational psychologist Robert Gagne. Each event is designed to support how people learn best. Gaining attention. Teachers tells learners how to use PowerPoint in the classroom. Giving background information creates validity. Choose an example of PowerPoint. The use of multimedia grabs the audience's attention. Ask learner questions about using PowerPoint. Asking questions in the beginning creates an interactive atmosphere. So it means before any learning can happen, the teacher must first capture the learner's attention. For example, the teacher talks about how she used PowerPoint in class and shows a PowerPoint presentation. She also asks students questions about using PowerPoint. So it's using multimedia and question gets students interested and focused. It sets the stage for active learning by sparking curiosity. Number 2. Informing the learners of the objectives. Teacher says, today we're going to work using a multimedia presentation software, Microsoft PowerPoint. Make learners aware of what to expect so that they are aware and prepared to receive information. In informing learners of the objectives means learner need to know what they are expected to learn. For example, the teacher says, today, we're going to work in using Microsoft PowerPoint. It helps students mentally prepare for the lesson, and knowing the goals make it easier for the lesson. Number 3. stimulating recall of prior learning. For this particular group of learners, they have to learn previously about Microsoft Windows, particularly Microsoft Word. Teacher associates this knowledge with lesson at hand. In rational, when learning something new, access prior knowledge is major factor in the process of acquiring new information. In stimulating recall of prior learning means the teacher helps students connect new knowledge to what they already know. For example, students previously learned about Microsoft Word, so the teacher links that knowledge to learning PowerPoint. So it means it recalling past lesson make it easier to understand and remember new information. It activates related memories, making learner more meaningful. The first three steps are like preparing the soil before planting. They make sure students are focused, know that they are learned, and are building on what they already understand.
The fourth event of instruction is presenting the stimulus. Presenting the stimulus, this part where the teacher presents the contents of the students that are expected to learn. Lesson example or conditions of learning. Teacher gives students hands-on or step-by-step tutorial on using Microsoft PowerPoint. Rationale. The goal is information acquisition, therefore the stimulus employed is written content and the actual software program. The goal is to help students learn new information. So the teacher uses written instructions and the real software or like the Microsoft PowerPoint to show things work. This helps students see and understand what they need to learn more clearly. The fifth event of instruction is providing learner guidance. Here, the teacher supports students as they begin practicing the skill or concept hints, demonstrations, and examples to help the students apply what they're learning. Lesson example or conditions of learning. Teacher demonstrates how to create a presentation. Teacher moves around and shows students how to use the tools to type and text, add links, add symbols, and clip art, insert videos and diagrams, use sounds or etc. Learners are allowed to try the tools demonstrated in partners on their computers. The teacher demonstrates how to create a presentations. Then the teacher walks around the room to guide students as they try it themselves, giving tips or answering questions. Students that are works in pairs, which promotes a collaborative discovery. Rationale. Teacher uses discovery learning because learners are adults and it gives them the freedom to explore. Teacher facilitates the learning process by giving hints and cues when needed. Since the audience are pre-serviced with some basic level of technology skills and the software program is easy to follow and understand guidance is minimal. So here, the teacher uses a method where students learn by exploring and finding out things on their own. Instead of directly giving answers, the teacher supports learning by guiding students, gently offering help only when necessary through clues or suggestions. The students are training to become professional or pre-service and already have some basic tech skills. Because the software is user-friendly, they don't need much help, so the teacher gives only limited support. The sixth event of instruction is eliciting performance. So here, this is where the students apply or perform what they have learned. Lesson example or conditions of learning. Teacher asks students to demonstrate PowerPoint tools. Rational. Requiring the learner produce based on what has been taught enables the learners to confirm his or her learning. Regular feedback enhances learning. So, this is the time that the students are given the opportunity to demonstrate and confirm their understanding. Regular feedback is very important for learners for them to enhance their learning, knowledge, and skills as they continue learning.
Okay, now, so let's move on to the next event, which is number 7, the giving feedback. So, when we say giving feedback is about the teacher, paghatag ka ng assigned task sa iyang estudyante. Then after the students complete the task, is the teacher will give an immediate feedback such as praises, corrections, and suggestions. The purpose for this is to help the students understand what they did right or wrong for them to learn and to adjust. Number 8, the assessing performance. So, lesson example is assign a practice activity, create an electronic storybook using Microsoft PowerPoint, teacher check work. Since it is assessing performance, it is a time where a teacher will assess the performance of the students and the teacher will check their work if yung i-assign na work is masakura pabot sa mga estudyante. Rational, independent practices forces students to use what they learn and apply it. Assessing such gives instructors a means of testing student learning outcomes.
Because since it is independent practices, the students can apply what they learn without direct guidance. In this way, it can evaluate student learning, identify improvement, and also it can take many forms such as projects and more. And instructors can gain a comprehensive understanding of students' learning and they can adjust their teaching approaches.
Number 9, enhancing retention and transfer. So teacher asks learners to create activities using PowerPoint presentation. For 6th grade pupils, teacher also assigns learner to teach another how to make PowerPoint presentation.
And the purpose for this is to promote mastery through the use of technology, where it can enhance digital literacy, creativity, and engagement. It also helps learners to master and strengthens their understandings and can build both technical and teaching skills.
The last one is applying learning in real life situation. This is step towards master learning. So
Because when students apply knowledge in a real world or practical situation, it can strengthen memory. It helps them use their learning in different areas. This 9 event is important because it provides a structured approach and helps to ensure that instruction is engaging, effective, and promotes learners' retention. And that's all. Thank you.